is it in capital?
All right. So the process to make the PDF file is, it should, generally speaking, this PDF file that you're going to send to the buyers shouldn't take more than 30 minutes. If it's taking you that long, you have to refine some of the things that you're doing, and just so you can
Mm.
understand it a little bit better. So refer to the template that I showed you. Go back to the template real quick, Dave.
Which template? The template you showed last time?
Yeah,
This
the
one, yeah.
same PDF template that I'm showing. So go to the top. Yeah. So the top view is going to be the main view of the house, right? Exterior view, and it's going to be the best view that you have for the house, so that it gives the buyer a complete image of exactly what they're looking at. And then right underneath is going to be the address huge. It should be in bold, and it should be completely visible. So underneath that, go ahead, go down. Bed and bath, square footage, year built, and then the reason why it was built, or what the reason why the buyer should actually get this property in this area. What's attractive about this community, about this the neighborhood, whatever it is. Right. Go down. Asking price. This area you want it to be big, huge, green, and it adds more emotions as well, especially when you make it green. Resale value, like I was showing you the ARV, how to calculate the ARV. I'm going to run through it again here soon so that you guys can have an understanding of how ARV is calculated, as well as how profitable property can be for the buyer and for yourself as the wholesaler. Go down again, and then estimated repair costs. This, you're going to get this from the seller and you're going to get this from the wholesaler if you're doing joint venture. All right. So this is going to be the major repair issues. So if the house has HVAC systems, if there's flooring issues, paint, plumbing issues, roof, whatever it is, you put it here as the main repair issues. That way, it gives an idea to the buyer that when I get this property, I'm going to need to do HVAC. I'm going to need to do a new plumbing system. I'm going to have to repair the roof, whatever it is. All right. And then you're going to put the profit margin for after they flip the property, after they fix the property up. And then a lot of buyers typically ask, is the property vacant? Is it free? Is there anybody in there? Uh, if it's free, then of course. If it's vacant, then of course you put it there. If it's not, then you still want to put it there so that it's clear for everyone. All right. And then the accessibility of the property. Is there a pin? Will they have access to a lockbox? You want to put that in bold and red so that it's not missed. And then go lower. Yeah. And then this section, view property section, you're going to get a link either from the wholesaler or you're going to create a link of all the pictures in Google Docs. You put it in Google Docs, which is free. You put all the pictures there, and then that link to the Google Doc, you bring it straight, you connect it straight to this hyperlink here. That way, once you export the PDF, you send it to whoever, anybody can just click this link. It's a hyperlink, and it brings them straight to all the pictures in one place. This eliminates the need of sending pictures through WhatsApp, sending pictures to this person, to this buyer, sending it again to this buyer. You just put it in one area, and then you put a hyperlink to that area, to that location. And then the comps, usually I like to do 4. In this example, I put 2, but 4 comps in the area of which the property is being sold. It gives a good idea of what recent properties were recently sold that are in the same range of the square footage, the lot size, as well as the bed counts, the bath counts, and just the general vicinity. As an example, I just put it's the same address here. This is not any different. I just added two different of the same addresses just to give you an example of the different comps. What you can do is add a hyperlink right next to the addresses that brings you straight to the property. That way, the
So,
person can see it through Zillow or through Redfin or wherever you're getting the link from.
please, the other link from the comps, the other property that has already been sold.
Yeah, so there are links that to the properties that are already have been sold in that area, in the area of where you're buying. Generally, the same zip code. Yeah, the same
Okay,
zip code is pretty much the same. It's the same area. Yeah.
okay, okay.
Are they just comps or they also have links?
What do you
Like
mean?
those properties that were sold in the same area. We only put their address or we also put a link that leads to it.
Yeah, so you put the link from Zillow that leads straight to the Zillow link, to the Zillow listing,
Where do
right?
you put it?
You put it right next to you see where this address is where it says 462610 Briar all the way at the
Mm,
end. Yeah, you can
yeah,
add it
so
right on the you can add it on the right of where it
right
says
here.
sold for 41K. Yeah, you can add a hyperlink next to
Okay.
that. That way the buyer can click to it and go straight to the comparison. Yeah. And then as a note, I always add do all due diligence before submitting an offer. Some buyers buy sight of non-seen, meaning they haven't really looked at the property. They're maybe outside of the city. They didn't send anybody. They just looked at the pictures and they make an offer and they actually buy it too. Some of them it's that way. It just depends on the confidence level of the buyer. Some buyers, I mean, every buyer is different, but generally speaking, there's no due diligence period unless you're selling off a multifamily, and then you want to put closing with either the seller's title company or closing it's open to the buyer's title company. Some buyers are really strenuous on which title company is used. Either their title company because they're familiar, they're used to them, or they're open to the seller's title company. And then the last thing I just add is for the buyers not to post this property anywhere in the MLS, anywhere online. Then you just add your contact information. So contact John Doe at whatever your number is to make an offer. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Once this PDF is done, is completed, you use this to then start sending off to buyers through Facebook, through Zillow contacts, whatever methods you're using, all the methods that you're using to contact the buyers. You get on the phone with them, whether it's email, text messages. You send them this PDF. They analyze it. They look at it real quick. It just reduces the amount of time that they have to do of thinking and making decisions. It makes it faster, the decision making process. All right. Any questions about that?
To make things are clear.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's not too hard.
Yeah.
Let me go through, like I was mentioning, the last section of just to calculate how to calculate a good deal, make sure that the deal makes sense, right? Before you go even to make the PDF file and put all this information together, you want to make sure that the deal makes sense, that you're going to make money from it, and that the buyer will make money from it as well. Because if the buyer doesn't see that they'll make money from it, they're not going to go for it. They're not going
Yes,
to
sir. Yes, sir.
They're not going to do anything with it. So let's do that. Let me see here. Let me share screen and go to it. Any other questions you guys have in the meantime?
No, not for now.
All right. Jean, how are you doing?
I'm real good, so just thinking because
right? So see here. So this is the calculator that I use here as well. Like I was mentioning to you guys, this shouldn't take you more than 15 minutes to input these numbers. Maybe not even 10 minutes, especially once you get all the numbers, right? Um, Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You just put the date in which you're working in, your name, which this top information doesn't really, it's not too important. This is just going to help you calculate how much money you're going to make, how much money the buyer will make. All right. So you put the property address to keep up to date with it, the city, the zip, and then put the bedroom count. This is just an example of this property, which is 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1 story, and it's occupied. There's currently people living in the property. There's no pool, and this is a wholesaling deal. And then the livable square footage, meaning the square footage of just the house, not the lot, right? And then you put the lot square footage, which is going to be bigger because there's the land and there's the fencing, all of that. So you put the lot square footage, the year built. Then underneath that, you want to put the purchase price of the property. All right. The purchase price of the property, which is in this case $200,000. And then the projected hold time of the property for the buyer. How long is the buyer typically going to have this property, especially if they're flipping it, before they sell it off to the next buyer, right? How much time is the buyer that you're selling to? How much time are they going to spend renovating, fixing the property, and getting it to the optimal condition, the ARV, before they sell it? Generally speaking, it's about 6 months, 8 months, however long it's going to take the buyer. But just on the general rule of thumb, I just put 6 months, 5, 6 months, 7 months in this box here. All right. Then you just put in how much money you want to make out of this deal. You want to be greedy and make $25,000? If you put that number, you'll leave very little margin for the buyer. So you want to be conservative, but you also want to be cautious in regards to how much you're making. Um, Generally speaking, if you're coming with a wholesale you're doing a joint venture partnership with another wholesaler, you're the second wholesaler coming into the deal. They've already predetermined some of the assignment fee, and you're going to be able to split that. So if the assignment fee is $10,000, that's what you want to make out of the deal. That's what's going to come out of the deal. All right. And then the
Yeah.
estimated repair costs. Do you have a question?
No, no, no.
Okay. The estimated repair costs of the property, right? I I usually get this from speaking with the seller themselves after understanding what needs to be repaired, what's going on with the property, what the issues are, and then I estimate that. It's just an estimate. It's not something exact, but it gives a ballpark number to the buyer, how much they can potentially spend with this property. And then taxes. This is from the seller. They should understand the taxes of the property. They're the owner. They're the current owner. The insurance, how much they pay, the utilities, and miscellaneous things, fees, whatever it is that they spend for the property. Is it landscaping? Whatever it is, miscellaneous. HOA fees, I put, and then closing costs of the property. And then after that, it should add up all of the total investment for the buyer. So if they're spending $200,000 plus $45,000 for the repair, for insurance, utilities, all that stuff, it's gonna come up to $244,000. That's the total investment that they've put into that property for them to be able to make profit. And then LTV, this is essentially if the financing, the buyer is going to be getting financing from the bank, or any source that's similar to that, which the bank, generally speaking, for an investment property, they're gonna do 25%. They're gonna require 25% down from the buyer. In most cases, 25%. So the loan to value is gonna be about 75%, right? Meaning the bank is going to give 75% and then the buyer has to come up with the rest of the money, which is going to be 25% to close the deal. And if the interest rate, just as an example, 7%, you can pull this from Fannie Mae, you can pull this from Freddie Mac. Generally speaking, this can be 88%, however much it is at the time in which you're looking at in the area. But the interest rate, you put it here. If the buyer is buying cash, that means you don't need to worry about the loan to value. You can just put this at 100% because they're coming with full cash. They're not financing anything. They're coming with straight cash. Or we can even put this at 0%. Sorry. Right? You put this at 0% because they're buying it whole as it is with cash, either putting in hard money or they have their own liquid fund and they're putting money into it. So you don't need to calculate any of this loan to value because it's not coming from the bank. All right. Next thing is you generally split the wholesaling commission. This is if you're the only wholesaler, or if you're doing another joint venture partnership with another wholesaler. So, say for example, if you want for for the other wholesaler, $4,500 for the other wholesaler, and for you, 7,500 for your fee as the wholesaler, and then the closing costs that the title company would make, which in this case, most title companies they take 1%, which in this deal would just come out to $3,000, and that's the total sales costs. Now ARV, this is the section that I wanted to get to as well to calculate the after repair value. The way you calculate the ARV, you get whenever you're doing the comparison of of the entire area of the zip code in which you're buying in, you pull the median price per square foot, right? The median price per square foot of that area, which I can show you the quick calculations of that as well. So I go straight to Zillow, and if I'm looking at a property, for example, just this property here, which was recently sold in this area, it was recently sold for $370,000, right? And the square footage of this area is this here. I just take a simple calculation. I just do a quick calculation, and then I take $370,000, which was the price that it was sold for, and the square footage. I divide that by the square footage, which is 2847. It gives me about $130 per square foot. So if I was doing a comparison of this area, if I was buying in this area, I'd look at other comparisons, other properties that were sold, and then I do an average. But for this property, it's about $130 per square foot. So for the example that we're working in, that's how you calculate the square footage per the median price per square foot. That's how you calculate the
Okay.
median price per square foot, right? You just do a comparison of properties that have already been sold. You look at the price that they were sold for and divide that by the square footage. And then you take that average median price per square foot, and then you come into your property. And for this property, the median price per square foot was $240. And then you multiply that by the livable square footage.
Mm,
All right. So for this example, since I have this price per square foot, which is at $240, I multiply that by my actual livable square footage, and it's already built into the calculator, so you don't have to run these calculations again. You just need this Excel file. So I multiply this by 1250, which is my livable square footage. It gives me $300,000. That's my after repair value. That's how you calculate the after repair value. All right. And then it's already automatic. All you have to do is just come here, input the median price per square foot, which you can pull from Zillow after doing a quick analysis. You input this, and it helps you calculate the livable square footage times the median price per square foot, and it spits out the ARV. It spits out for you. So after you have all of that, you then it spits out the deal net profit, how much money that the buyer will actually make from this property, which in this case is $40,000. And then the return, the ROI, the return on investment for the wholesaler, which is about 16%. The return on investment, which is decent. It's not good. I like to be at about 20%. I like the buyer to be at about 20%. So if a deal is at about 20%, then I move forward. If it's maybe 19, 20, 21% is good. I move forward with the deal. In this case, 16%, it's not really good. It's not a good margin for the buyer. So that means after they buy it, they fix it up, and then they only make about $40,000. It's not as much margin as you would want, right? So that's how you would calculate how much money the buyer would make and how much money you could potentially make from this deal as a wholesaler or as the joint JV wholesaler. All right. Any questions before, like, any questions with that?
Um, no question really. No question really. Just that are we actually mandatory to make all this calculation before we sell the property?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm saying that are we actually is it mandatory for us to make all this math before selling the property?
Yeah, it should be a quick analysis. It should be something
Uh,
very fast. It shouldn't
mm-hmm,
take you, like I was mentioning before, maybe 15 minutes. Just pull all this information together. Um,
mm-hmm,
Call the wholesaler to get some of the insurance, some of the fees associated to the property,
mm-hmm.
and then pull all the information together, and then spit it into the calculator, and then you move
Yeah,
on to the deal. It helps you understand, will this deal make sense?
this makes yeah,
Will I
true,
make money? How
true.
much money will I make from this deal? Right?
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
But the money for us, let's say the one that brings the joint venture, uh, is it given after the math or because I've seen you putting 10K, so I'm like, do we usually put 10K or how is it generated?
Well, if you're doing a joint venture partnership and you're the second wholesaler, you come and speak to a wholesaler that's already has a deal active. They're under contract. Usually, they already have determined a price, an amount that they want to make. They've already predetermined how much money is going to come out of that deal, how much they can squeeze out of that deal, right? If they sell it at X amount, that the asking price. And then if you talk to them once you're negotiating with them, how much money you can also make. Are you going to get a 50% split? Are you guys going to split maybe 60-40? Are you guys going to split 75-25? Um, the split is going to determine how much money you make out of that
With
deal
the wholesaler, right?
with the wholesaler, right? But if you're the only wholesaler in that deal, then you get 100% of the assignment fee.
And we'll fix the assignment fee. It's already fixed by the title
You
company.
you determine how much money you make.
Oh,
But the
okay.
thing is, if you're very greedy with how much money you make,
Yeah, yeah.
then
Yeah, they're not gonna let you do it.
there's no
Oh
margin.
yeah, yeah,
Mm,
There's no
yeah.
margin for
Okay.
the buyer, and it'll make it very hard for you to sell it. Right?
mm,
You want the numbers to make sense. That's why I use the calculator.
hmm. Great.
Yeah. Any other questions right now?
I have a question. So I'm so sorry, guys. I'm just a person that I want to learn. Okay, if I'm asking
We
so
do
many
well.
questions. So this question is particularly, I don't know. Maybe I will ask it also in school, right?
Mhm.
I've been listening to the podcast we had with Adam Moore last night.
Right.
and he talks about wholesaling this, but he mentioned something about if you want to become a direct wholesaler with this with the seller, like you gotta pay like $10 down to the seller and then get the paperwork. But I don't really know everything about that. Can you help me or us, like if we want to be like a direct seller, wholesaler, so with the seller, what process can we take?
Yeah. If you want to be the direct wholesaler to the seller,
Yeah.
the main step is convincing the seller. Well, generally
Okay.
speaking, you don't need to really do convincing if you already
Yeah.
understand that the seller is distressed,
Mm-hmm.
is if they're in a tight situation, they need to get rid
Okay.
of this property fast.
Okay.
They might be going through a divorce and they need to get rid of this property, or they've already inherited this property from someone, from
Yeah.
their grandfather, from a family member, or they can't keep up with the taxes, they can't keep up with it. It's their second
Mm-hmm.
property and they need to get rid of it to buy something else. They want to move on to something else. Whatever reason it is,
Yeah.
you want to speak to a seller that's um, distressed, right? They want to get rid of this property fast. If you end up speaking to somebody who doesn't really, they want to sell, but they don't need to sell, then
Oh yeah.
you don't have you don't have the as much leverage as possible because
Mm.
uh, maybe towards the end of the deal, they might be like, "Hey, you've already done the work. You got the buyer. You've already got it. A lot of most stuff on the contract." And you get to the title company, and they're like, "You know what? I don't want to really sell this property. Let me hold it."
Oh,
They're
okay.
not really distressed. They don't want to sell it. They 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 were in a good situation. They wanted to sell it, but maybe someone convinced them, "Hey, you shouldn't sell this property." Maybe Nancy across the street told him, "Hey, this property is actually worth X. You should hold on to it for 6 more months, and then you'll make
Yeah.
X." And they're like,
Yeah.
"Okay, never
Yeah.
mind. I don't want to sell it anymore." Right? That's
Okay.
why it's very
Yeah.
important for you to get in conversation with sellers that are distressed and they want to get rid of
Okay.
this property fast. Right? So you
Okay.
determine that through conversations with them in when you're doing deal acquisition, not dispo. When you're doing disposition,
Mm.
you're looking
Yeah.
for the buyers. When you're doing deal
Mm.
acquisition, you're doing more of the sales. You're talking to the property owners,
To
the
this
sellers.
owner.
It
Yeah. Okay.
has to do with more emotions. You're dealing with the emotions
Oh
of the
yeah.
buyer, of the
Okay.
seller, right?
Okay. Okay.
The reason why when you're speaking to the seller, they're attached to this property. They may have owned it for maybe 20 years, maybe 15 years, maybe
Mm. Mm.
they have some emotion attached to it, right? So
Yes.
they, one way or the other, they don't want to get rid of this property, but they see the other side. They want the money that comes afterwards after selling the property. So you just have to mitigate that. You have to handle that in the correct way. Once you get them to approve that you're trustworthy, that you can actually get a buyer for this property at a good price for them, then you sign a contract with them, you get under contract, then you move on, you then bring the buyer, close the deal, you bring it to the title company,
Okay.
close the deal.
Okay.
Hope that
Okay.
answers the question.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. That
But
makes sense.
when you were talking, I realized that when we go to Universal, if when we are, looking for those deals, usually when we click on them, we get in touch with the wholesaler. I've not seen like getting in touch directly to the seller first. Is
Yeah,
there a
that's
way to just go straight to the seller, or because usually when you get in touch with it, there's already somebody working on it.
yep. Yeah, exactly, for sure. Yeah, you generally speaking, you can most deals on investor lift are going to be direct to the wholesaler. It's
Mm-hmm.
wholesalers that have already negotiated with the sellers,
Sellers, yeah.
and then they've already come to an agreement to some for a certain amount, and then they list their property on investor lift, and then they use that platform to market to the buyers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you come along and you want to do a JV agreement with them,
Mm-hmm.
and then through that JV agreement, you bring them a buyer, you close the deal, you help close the deal, you get part of the fee. So if you want your own deal,
Hmm.
very simple, but at the same time, I would argue that it's harder than actually getting a
It
buyer.
is. Yeah,
I would say convincing a seller that they should let go of their property comes
it's
at
hard.
it requires more skills, more sales skills than getting a buyer. Uh,
Yeah.
however hard it is getting a buyer, it's probably harder to get also a seller to actually agree to the price that you have, get under contract, and even understand that they should let go of their property, right? So you might get a trend where you're calling these buyers through Zillow, through Redfin. Uh, when you get their contact information, you call them up and you ask them, "Hey, I've seen. Do you want to let go of your property at?" And then you get under contract. Before you even get under contract with them, you talk to them about the price in which they can sell their property for. They may want to sell it for $350,000, but you know that you can make money, and it's going to be easier for you to sell the property if they come in at $280,000.
But where to get in
Now,
touch with those sellers then?
I'm sorry.
Where to get in touch with those sellers? Can you find them universally or there is another tool or something? I need to know them.
There's a lot of different tools. PropStream
Okay.
is one. PropStream is one of the tools that I also use to get a list of sellers.
Okay.
And you can also use Zillow, off-market deals, and Redfin is good. I use Facebook as well.
Mhm.
Generally speaking, well, part of my team compiles a list of various different sellers of deals that are really distressed, that seem to be distressed, and then we contact them through cold calling and we speak to them and see, hey, do you want to let go of this property? And if you do, what is the current conditions and what price would you sell it at? Right. So once you
Okay.
start having these conversations with these sellers, that's when you start understanding the actual the reasons why they would actually let go of these property and why and at what price. So PropStream is a good tool that I would use, and I can give you a whole list of the various different tools that you can use where you can pull these original sellers, the sellers that would let go of their properties.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any other questions before I close it out?
No, I don't have any question now.
Okay, sounds good, guys. Thank you very much for joining.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Are you going to post this on school?
Yeah, I'll throw it in the Skool. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. So I can be going back whenever I need more clarification on the analysis and stuff. So I can go back to that.
yeah, I'll put it in the Skool community.
Appreciate. Thank you so much.
Sure. If you guys
On
have
my
any
side,
questions,
no, no,
go
on my
ahead.
side, I'll just try to go and finish that up and then send it to you for you to review it. And then
Yeah,
if it's okay, we go from there.
sounds good.
Hmm. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, just throw it in the Skool community. I'll answer it as quickly as possible. If it's urgent, just get to me, and then we'll handle it that way. If you guys have any active deals that you're working on, which I want you guys to be working on deals,
Deals.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
get on the phone with these sellers, get on the phone with these wholesalers. If you want to do, if you're doing JV, get on the phone with these
Your
buyers.
sound.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I don't know what's going on.
Can you hear me now? You still can't hear me?
Dave, can you hear Taylor?
Yeah, I'm hearing all of you.
Yeah, I can. It's
Did
probably a
you mute him or what?
yeah. I
Okay,
can.
go ahead.
What was I saying again in regards to? Yeah, I want you guys working on deals, speaking to these buyers. And if you ever need help in any process, there's a lot of legal aspects of things depending on what city you're working on, what state. You don't want to get bound in whatever anything with contracts, anything like that. So ask questions. We're here to help. That's why I'm here. I have a community. This is what I do. I'm here to help you guys so that you can close deals, make money, uh, and then see progress and see success through this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just contacting people, trying, but haven't gotten any like deal yet. Whenever I have a deal, so we are a contractor to Eagles, so every I'll come to you. You are the coach, so you will know everything.
Not everything. God knows everything.
You are the coach, the
God
coach, the
knows everything.
coach.
I don't know everything. God knows everything. Okay. It's
Thank
not
you
a
so
problem.
much.
I'll help out where I can.
All right, all right. Okay.
Yeah, I have this question.
Sure.
When I get the deal, can I call you to help me like on the phone personal, or I will just ask you for help in the school?
Yeah. Go through the school community. If it's urgent, just shoot me a message and then because I'm usually in other meetings and whatnot. But if I see that it's urgent, I'll try to pause what I'm doing and then get to you as quickly as I can.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, but filter everything through the school community because the same
Mhm.
question you might have, maybe another person has it as well. And it'll
Yeah,
help all of us out. And we
yeah,
can always stay engaged through there,
yeah,
communicate through that.
right.
All right, all right. So I gotta let you. I'm already here, so gotta start practicing with people right here.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. We'll be in touch, guys.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
I'll take care.